All right, everybody, welcome back to Jets Therapy. This week, we're starting off with the Bills. We have them tomorrow. We're making this video on a Saturday. We just created this channel. Gordon is with me.
How's it going, guys?
Like I said, Gordon's from Jersey, always been a Jets fan. He currently lives in Central Virginia. I live in Northern Virginia. We get together every now and then to watch the Jets. So we'll be talking Bills, keys to success, what we can expect, what we think is going to happen, and we'll kind of run from there.
Yeah. So I'll kind of introduce myself a little bit. Like Dan said, my name's Gordon. I'm originally from Northern New Jersey. So born and raised Jets fan. Used to have season tickets, went to all the great games, was there through those AFC championship games, and fortunately not there for the butt fumble, but I did watch it on TV at home, and you know how that goes, Dan. But yeah, now live in Central Virginia, like Dan said, and want to have some fun talking about the Jets.
Yeah, well, let's do it, dude. So we're talking Bills, one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the best team, despite the whole
the best, Dan. Let's be honest, the best team.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that
it's hard to say, but yeah,
I hate the fact that they're coming off the Jacksonville loss as well. Yeah, like they need more fuel to fire during a division game.
Exactly.
So for this game, essentially, we can kind of talk about what the Jets need to potentially do in order to be successful. And like we were talking about, I honestly, I'm not looking for a win here. I'm just looking to not get embarrassed.
Yeah.
As far as Mike White goes, I mean, I love the kid. I think that he's going to do an extremely good job. I think that he's a stud. He's been successful up until this point. But we need to kind of slow the roll a little bit here on Mike White. That's kind of how I feel. Again, I love him. Mike effing White, he's the dude. He got us that W. I honestly don't know if Zach Wilson gets us that W, because what Mike White is doing as far as scheme, I think is fitting perfectly into what LaFleur wants his offense to be. And I think the fact that Wilson has so many weapons and has so many tangibles to his gameplay, I just feel like it was too much. And LaFleur almost didn't know what to do with it. He was trying to get the deep ball. He was trying to get Wilson moving out of the pocket. And I just feel like what Mike White can do just suits what LaFleur is looking for this offense. So, but with all that being said, we're acting like Mike White is the second coming of Jesus here. He's got one W.
He may be, Dan.
He led a nice.
He might be.
I don't know. I mean, in terms of being a Jet fan, he might just be. But, I mean, he led a nice drive versus the Colts, obviously got hurt. I would have loved to have seen what he was going to do during that game. But sometimes these quarterbacks come in, people don't know what to expect. They come in, they do well. They're young enough to not know exactly what's going on. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I'm looking forward to having Zach Wilson back. I'm a huge Wilson guy. So we'll have to see what happens. I don't know. What are your thoughts on White? I mean,
exactly. So, I mean, coming off that Bengals game, obviously, with all the other Jets fans, I was feeling pretty gosh darn good about Mike effing White. But as the Jets do, they bring us up to those highs, and then they bring us right back down to those lows. You were here with that. You were here for that Colts game. He did well. He started off well. We went out 3 and out or didn't score that first drive, and then Colts scored, and he came back and got us a touchdown right away. So he has the capability. And like you said, he's playing LaFleur's scheme perfectly well, or I wouldn't say perfectly well, but exactly how a quarterback should, quote unquote, should play that scheme. And I think it's pretty telling today, or pretty telling. You heard Wilson this week say, I need to be more like Mike White, which that's not why we drafted Wilson. We didn't draft him at number 2 to be a Mike White, but we drafted him because of, kind of like you said, he has those explosive plays and those fiery plays. He's got that. He's a gunslinger arm. He's mobile. So I think to see him saying that he needs to be more like Mike White is a little bit of a red flag for me. I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just trying to. I mean, what I love about him is super calm, super composed. Zach Wilson's interview yesterday, his press conference was great. I mean, he's a team player. He obviously fits in well in the room. He gets along with everybody on the team. And I think what he just meant is just like, I need to be a little bit more just reserved with what I do as a quarterback, because that's just what I saw at Mike White. He wasn't trying to be anybody, but he was completely just playing to his talent level. And I understand that Wilson is a more talented quarterback as far as like what he can do physically and athletically.
Yeah, those tangibles,
I think he just needs to kind of dumb things down a little bit more. And that's what Saleh said in the beginning. I think it was after the first or second game. Saleh was like, it's
boring football.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to have the boring plays, and I get it, and it's not. And those boring plays can lead to those explosive plays that Saleh keeps talking about. That explosive plays end up in scoring drives. So, like, I don't know how many checkdowns that Mike White threw versus the Bengals that went for 15 yards, 10, 15 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I truly feel that the Bills I think they're going to take that away. If I was the Bills, I would rush Mike White, get him uncomfortable, take away the short passes. Yeah. They have such a strong secondary. They have such strong quarterbacks.
We're playing the number one defense. They're the number one defense in the league right now.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's tough to even have these conversations because of like what we know about the Jets and like how much I feel like they're going to potentially struggle versus this defense.
Yeah.
To even be realistic about it. But like, you have to be. And I think that if the Bills rush Mike White, get him uncomfortable, take away that short pass, that screen pass.
Yeah.
And I would just go 1-to-1, go man-to-man on all of our wide receivers and allow force Mike White to throw the ball into a window, throw the ball into a box.
And again, like you said in that Bengals game, he threw nothing but check down. So does Mike White have that arm? We've yet to really see it. You know what I mean? He got hurt against the Colts. Didn't see it much during the Bengals because, first game in, first game starting, I should say. And, he took what the defense gave him and he's going to try that again. But again, against the number one defense, man, they're not going to give him a lot. So that's kind of like you said back in the beginning. I'm not feeling as good as I was before that Colts game. Going to the Colts game, Dan,
dude, we were
I'm going to be honest, I thought we could win.
You're so high.
Now,
now that I've composed myself,
we're taking what the Jets give us, and right now they've given us two polarizing games. So I'm not feeling too hot, but again, I just want to not get embarrassed this weekend.
Just don't get embarrassed. Yeah. I mean, I think Zach Wilson's coming back, this is where it becomes so tough. If say Mike White goes out there and gets the W, throws for 250 yards, 300 yards, a couple touchdowns, for some reason we sneak out a win.
Yeah.
I think if we win this game, it's going to have to be, 23-20 or something like that, where the defense actually steps up.
Yeah.
But I hate QB controversy, but we're going to truly have one. And what the worst thing that could potentially happen for this team is Mike White starts after the Bills. And then, Zach Wilson starts after the Bills, starts to struggle. And now you have Mike White chance.
Then you got the fans.
Hear it. Mike effing White.
Yeah.
Just while Zach Wilson is throwing picks. I just see it. Pick after pick.
Yep.
And now we don't know what to do at quarterback because we have this guy who's proven himself, but then we have now our first overall. And now we have an issue. But I'm not going to go to the bad place because that's what the Jets want me to do. And I won't go there. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to be focused on the Bills. So
that's right.
As far as the Bills go, I think that we just need to start quick when the Jets get off to those terrible starts like we've gotten in the past. In just this past year, it just hasn't gone well. So I think he just needs to establish himself early, scoring drive. I would love to, I don't even need a touchdown, 3 points. Put 3 points on the board.
Get points on the board, exactly.
Get a few first downs. Once Mike White starts having that confidence, it opens up the offense. You can see LaFleur's scheme changes once we start getting one or two. I'm sure all offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
When you get 1 or 2 first downs, starts to open things up. Mike White starts to actually sling the ball 10 to 15 yards every now and then, and it just kind of snowballs from there. So I think we have to start solid. Just you don't even need to start like hot, slinging the ball over the place. Just start strong. Get to their 30, their 25-yard line, kick a field goal, get some points on the board. Show the Bills that we're not a complete joke.
Yeah.
I mean, in the back of your mind, you always say we've beaten the Bengals, we've beaten the Titans. I don't even understand how that's
best possible. Teams in the AFC at the time.
How do you lose to the Patriots and to the Colts like we did, but then you beat the Bills, beat the Titans? That's kind of the nature of this year, I feel like, as well. But I think we just need to start solid with White. He starts moving the ball a little bit, opens things up, relaxes our defense. Our defense can't be on the field like it was in the beginning of the year. I felt like our offense was never on the field, but I think if we do that, then I think that there's a slight chance if we can start moving the ball a little bit in that first, second drive.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of look back, I think about, starting at that Bengals game, obviously Mike White came in and did Mike White things, and we were all hot and heavy for that Colts game. And then Josh Johnson came in and did Josh Johnson things. Now, granted, a lot of his yardage and that offensive success was towards the end of the game in garbage time. And at that time, it was third quarter garbage time. But you look at our offense these past 2 games, it's rolling. And I never thought I'd say this. And again, ask me in the beginning of the season where I thought our weakness was, it was the offense. So now it's almost like flip flop. You know what I mean? We've struggled on defense now and struggled bad on defense.
Yeah,
so I think my key to the game is the defense playing well. I agree with you. We need to go out there and score early, but kind of showing you how we did in the Colts last game. We went out, didn't score on our first drive. Colts scored, gave us a little shot in the arm, and we went out and responded right away. But then it was the defense that kind of let us up and let us fall a little bit. So yeah. I think the defense has to stick it up big time. That front offensive line, Saleh said it's the best he's ever coached. I think they need to show up. I think CJ Mosley needs to show up. And
defensive line, you mean?
Defensive line. Yeah. Defensive line. Yeah. Best defensive line he's ever coached. I think they need to show up. Secondary, the whole defense as a whole needs to show up.
And Saleh said, he literally said verbatim in one of his press conferences that our chances of winning or losing are to be contingent upon how the defensive line does.
Yep.
If that's true, then you can't have a team like the Colts run for 210 yards before contact. I understand Jonathan Taylor is a stud. He might be a top 3 running back in this league at some point. But, I mean, that's a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, there were literally holes opening up that any one of us could have run through.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost didn't even understand. It felt like we had like 2 guys on the line and 1 linebacker at times.
Yeah.
I love Ulbrich. I think that he handles and carries himself off the field with character, just like all of our coaches do. For anyone watching this, I love LaFleur, I love Saleh, I love Joe Douglas, and I love Ulbrich. I think we have finally figured it out.
We've got a great front office and coaches.
We have a great front office. I think we're moving in the right direction. But Brick he just didn't have it figured out. I don't even understand. I don't know enough about.
I don't know how that happens.
And that's what you ask yourself as a Jet fan. How is it happening where there's that many holes and there's that much space between contact?
Yeah.
And I think the Bills are going to try to exploit that. Why not? And people keep saying, I love Michael Carter and I love
Johnson.
Bryce Hall. Yeah,
Bryce Hall. Oh yeah.
I love Carter and I love Hall. I think that they're studs. Again, Joe Douglas loves to draft high character guys, captains in college. And yes, those guys are shutting people down. I get it. But teams are also just exploiting the run against us.
Yeah.
So it's like we don't really necessarily have to go to those guys because we can just run the ball for 8 to 10 chunk yards a pop.
Exactly.
So I think they're going to try to stick to the running game. Singletary is going to try to bust it up them. And it's not even like they were doing anything crazy. They was running it up the middle for 8
They had Mac. You could fit a Mack truck through those holes in the Colts game. Yeah.
So if our defensive line, I get what Saleh is saying. I get the fact that he's saying that if they step up, that is going to be our wins might be contingent upon that.
Yeah.
But if that's true, then we might be shit out of luck.
Yeah. I just don't want another Patriots game. Like I don't want another 54 to,
Isn't that sad that that's in our minds that we're even like, you have to say that out loud?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to lose by 40 because that's a possibility. Like,
yeah, give me a close game and like not a close game like the Colts game because that was not a close game. Yeah, the score was we were only down technically 2 scores at the finish of it, but we were out of it third quarter. We again garbage time, yardage, and things like that. So we were not. That was a game that was close, but we were never going to win that game. Yeah. I want a close game that feels like we bring it down to the wire, like that Titans game, like that Bengals game. Obviously, the 2 games we won, but they were tight right to the end. You know what I mean? We came back from 11 points from the Bengals, and we brought the Titans to overtime. So I think that's what we need to see. That's what I'd like to see. But again, that's why this channel is called Jets Therapy, Dan, is because Jets fans, they need it. We need it.
There's just so going into these type of games, there's just so much doubt, like what it would be like to be a team that knows that they're going into a game where it's either going to be close
with confidence.
Being a team right now that's 6-2 or whatever is 7-2, and you're just like, we're either going to win or it's going to be a close game.
Yeah.
I don't know what that feeling is like. It's literally like, are we going to get blown out or are we just barely going to win?
Yeah.
And those have been our wins this year. And I get it. We're a young team. We have a young coaching staff.
Yeah.
I understand. But patience, we've been
We've been patient for so long.
All we do is that's all we do is we're just waiting. We just wait and wait and wait.
And
Dude, thank God. Side note, thank God we got rid of Sam Darnold. For everybody out there that was saying like we need to hold on to him, Zach Wilson's a question mark. Can you imagine if we were doing what we were doing right now and we had Sam Darnold
instead
and Zach
of Mike
Wilson?
White?
Because Zach Wilson would have gotten drafted by God knows who, and he would have they would have been 7-2.
Yep.
And they would have
I'm
been
going to be honest,
Dan.
At first I was one of the ones who said we should probably keep Darnold, but after seeing how he's played with the Panthers, I'm pretty happy recanting that and being wrong on that one. So.
And I love Darnold, but
yeah, great guy, love the kid.
Yeah,
not a starter in this league.
No, another guy I want to see on defense is Quincy Williams. I understand that we have Jared Davis, we have C.J. Mosley kind of running things.
Yeah. He's a hard hitter, Dan.
Yeah, dude.
I don't think I've seen a linebacker hit as hard probably since we let Demario Davis go. Yeah, he reminds me a little bit of Demario Davis in some aspects, but
yeah, he's a ball hawk too. He's all over the ball. I mean, he can rush the QB. He can get to them. He closes gaps extremely quickly. I mean, there was a play against the Colts where, I mean, obviously as a linebacker, you have trouble going after tight ends and wide receivers. He dropped back. It was like a 25-yard pass that most likely would have been completed that he broke up. Yeah. And that he made, I forget who it was who was trying to catch the ball, but it was a decent pass and he completely broke it up as a linebacker about 35 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Fast to the ball, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, super quick, a smaller guy, so I think you have to use him within a certain scheme. I get that. He's not a C.J. Mosley. He's just a stud who's going to stand in the middle of the field and do literally everything. Yeah. But I would like to see him in the mix more and more. I think that he changes games from a defensive perspective.
Yeah, and he gives us another option. You know what I mean? And again, I think I'm excited to see Jared Davis too. I think he's still coming out of his injury. So, last game was his first game back. So I'm excited to see what he does. But I agree. I think I'd like to see Quincy in there. So.
Yeah, definitely. What else do you want to go over?
I mean, I don't know, Dan. I'm nervous about tomorrow's game. I am. I'm very nervous. I don't know how to feel. And again, this is what
there is no feel. There's no feel.
I will say I kind of like you said earlier, we either have those blowout losses or those close games. And one thing I will say, and like I know a lot of people have talked about, I think it was, after the Patriots game, everyone said Saleh needs to go, or what is LaFleur doing, or there needs to be a coaching change. And I mean, I think we have the right coaches in place because he's honest. He's one of the most honest, like more honest coaches I've seen in his interviews. He says, we're playing the most amount of rookies in the league. We've got the youngest team. He said, that's what it's going to look like. It's going to look like some days we'll win a Super Bowl. Other days looks like we don't belong on the field. And between the Colts and the Patriots, it looked like we didn't belong on that field. But I respect that he's very open. And again, kind of to go back, I know we don't want to talk too much on that quarterback controversy possibility or whatever, but if Zach Wilson truly does carry himself the way he shows in interviews, like he's a special kid because he's watching Mike White take his job right now and understanding that you can learn from that, because there's a lot of people that say you can't learn from watching on the sideline, but I think you can. I mean, he's watching someone play the offense how it's supposed to be played. And that's why he wants to play more like him, because it's, he has those check downs, but he also has that arm for those explosive plays when they open up. So,
yeah, I mean, he's just well polished, just overall.
I'm excited about where we're going. I'm nervous about where we're at though, because it's one of those things. It's up or down, like I said.
When are you not nervous about where we're at?
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I love Saleh. I think that he has the right demeanor. I think that he has the right leadership skills in order to have a very successful playoff team.
Yeah.
At some point, obviously we're not talking this year.
Not this year. But unless Mike White cooks goes 7-2 the rest of these games, man.
Dude, I see it.
Wild card chances, baby.
I can't wait until we open up this game with a touchdown drive. You will hear me say we're a playoff team.
Yeah.
And then the next drive, you will hear me say, I don't even understand why the television's on. So, well, yes, we'll have to see what happens. I think that the Colts win this. I think that the Bills win this game, obviously. Okay. But I think that I'm going to be optimistic. I think that we try to, we stick with them. It's not a blowout. I see the Colts. Jesus, I see the Bills winning. Like, I just can't get off that Colts game.
Can't get it out. Can't get it out of your head, Dan.
Like, I mean, I see them scoring a lot of points.
Okay.
I mean, Josh Allen, he does everything.
Yeah.
He literally does everything. MVP candidate, just super talented. So I see this like 30-20, something like that, 30-17.
Yeah, I was going to say right around, 30-17. That's where I was going to be at. So I think we score some points. I hope we see Mike White do well. I would love to see Michael Carter continue the trajectory he's on to be that running back one that I think the coaches know he can be and the flashes he's been showing. But yeah, I don't know if we come out of this with a win. I really don't. And that's sad to say, considering where I was at last week. But, being realistic and bringing it back down to earth, like you said, I think I just want to see us fight. I want to see some fight. I want to see some progress. But we'll see. You never know. It's the same old Jets.
Right. And that's something that I haven't seen us do is just quit.
Yeah.
Which could have been very easily during a lot of games. But Saleh does have this team fired up. He does have them in the right mindset. And I think he does put them in the best chance to be successful and win games. And when you have character guys like CJ Mosley, I mean, the whole team, you have one guy like that, he changes everything.
We got to lock Mosley up. We got to lock Mosley up for another 5 years, man. I'll say that till the cows come home. I love Mosley. I think the way he goes about his business, the way he changed his body type this year to fit Saleh's defense, and you never hear him complain. He's very humble. I'm a big CJ Mosley fan. So
yeah, for sure. And just quickly, I think Ashton Davis is going to be a huge question mark this game.
Yeah.
He has not been great. Now Marcus May is out, which sucks.
Yeah.
What this does for his contract, what this does for him as far as being a future Jet, I don't know. I love May. He's not Jamal Adams. He doesn't handle things like Jamal Adams. Again, he's a character guy, and I think that I don't know what the whole agent stuff. It's kind of crazy.
We're not in the business, Dan. We're not pros. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. But from a fan aspect, it seems like the agent's pulling a lot of strings on that. I don't know, but who knows?
Yeah.
I don't want to talk bad about an agent I know nothing about.
Exactly. So can Ashton Davis come in there? Can Ashton Davis fill some of those gaps? Is he going to be the dude that we thought he was in college?
Yep.
Who, again, another ball hawk, he was a track guy. So, he has sprint speed. I understand that he can close gaps really quickly, but sometimes he gives too big of a gap and those guys just get free. So we'll see how he does. I have yet to see maybe that Bengals game, but I have really yet to see this Jets team click on every facet.
Yeah.
But I guess the Bengals game was really the closest that we saw. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. I think the Bills pull it out, but hopefully we can keep it close.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see, man.
All right, dude. Sounds good. Well, thank you everybody for watching.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Watch. We're going to continue to make these. We'll see you guys probably on Monday. With
look out for our reaction video. See how if what we talked about today matches up with how we perform tomorrow. We'll see.
God, I just can't help but just shake my head. Just thinking about winning is it's literally, I just shake my head.
What are you thinking?
Stupid. All right, man. Sounds good. All right. We'll see everybody in a few days.